Self-proclaimed pound-for-pound UFC GOAT, Jon Jones, has had a very decorated and destructive journey through his 12 years in the UFC. From his countless title defenses or head-kicking Daniel Cormier, Jon Jones has achieved a level in MMA that only few can compete with. Before we go any further, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We do a weekly podcast and talk about breaking news in the UFC and MMA. After cleaning out the lightweight division and avoiding a rematch against Dominic Reyes, who arguably should have won on the scorecards, Jon Jones decided it was time to move on to the next chapter of his life. No, he's not retiring, he's finally moving up to the ever-elusive heavyweight division. Jon Jones has shown interest in the heavyweight division throughout his career and had equal as many opportunities to make the move, but never did. What is left for Jon Jones to accomplish at light heavyweight? He cleaned out the division? Check. He beat the other most dominating force in the division? Check. He holds basically every record for a champion at light heavyweight? Check. Looking at Jon's resume, you would think he was easily in his late 30s, but surprisingly he only turned 33 years old. It was rumored for some time that Jon Jones would be scheduled in a super fight against Francis Ngannou, but unfortunately for us, politics and money stopped that from happening. But who knows, this might happen one day, and we found a perfect trailer to get us hyped for this amazing matchup. Link in the description and on your screen right now. Now, you might be wondering, why am I going over Jon Jones and his heavyweight journey? Isn't this a video about Israel Adesanya versus Jon Jones? It is very important that we understand Jon Jones up to this point, to better evaluate the landscape between a matchup against Adesanya. During a year-and-a-half layoff back in 2015, Jon took a liking to powerlifting and became an absolute unit. Prior to this, Jon Jones was always a super lean fighter that didn't carry much muscle on his body. Powerlifting did change that and changed the way Jon Jones trained and fought in the octagon. His first fight back using his new body type was against OSP at UFC 197, where Jon Jones did not have his best performance. Ring rust may have attributed to this, but Jon Jones' longtime head coach, Greg Jackson, did comment after the fight that powerlifting's a problem. He gasses, "I only want to do a I told you so dance right now." Jon Jones later on acknowledged his endurance did take a hit by making efforts to stop powerlifting and focus on not being as large. Jon said before his UFC 200 bout, "I've actually been focusing on burning off muscle by doing overloading on endurance. I think you'll be able to tell in the weigh-ins and during the fight that I look a lot more the way that I used to. A lot less bulky. My endurance feels amazing." We wish we could see a picture from Jon Jones' UFC 200 weigh-ins, but that fight never happened due to unforeseen circumstances. Before the fight was called off, Jon Jones looked significantly smaller, and it was evident he did not deadlift 500 pounds for 5 reps during training camp. If we fast forward today, we have an on-fire superstar in Israel Adesanya that has spoke a matchup against Jon Jones into the universe for 2021. And it looks like the matchup actually might happen to delight of fans and the organization alike. But there's a problem that I wish was as small as a picogram, but clearly is not. What weight class would this bout be at? Since announcing the move to heavyweight, Jon Jones said his walking around weight is currently at 240 pounds. By posts on his social media, he appears to have re-entered the world of powerlifting again and is as massive as ever. Israel Adesanya is currently the champion of the middleweight division, which is 185 pounds. Looking at his 6'4" frame, Izzy's walking around weight is around 195 to 210 pounds at most. In comparison, Jon Jones was never able to make the 185 mark in his career due to his large size and frame. Jon Jones is also 33 years old, and his days of massive weight cuts are behind him, which includes any fights at light heavyweight. Remember, Jon Jones has already gone down the path of powerlifting and cutting down to light heavyweight and knows that is a recipe for disaster. Packing on muscle to fight at heavyweight though makes a lot more sense than light heavyweight, considering the fighters at heavyweight are significantly larger. Well, it doesn't make sense to everyone, including Izzy, who said, "That's Jon Jones' downfall. Like, I need to move up in weight. Pack on the size. Some people are stupid. They play the game so stupid. I've done it at kickboxing. I weighed in at heavyweight with clothes on and a tray of Dunkin' Donuts in my hand, and I was like 90 something kilos. Yeah, sure, you want to put on size? Are you used to moving around that heavy with the work rate you were doing with all the previous fights? Yeah, I just don't play the game like everybody else. I'm just chill. I'll stay here. I'm gonna get stronger. I always do, but I'm not going to purposely put on muscle just so I can be at a weight class. Stupid. What does this mean for the fight then? Jon Jones has made it clear that he's not going to chase a fight against Izzy verbally, but also physically. This means if Izzy wants to face and beat the legend of Jon Jones, he is going to have to face a Jon Jones that will weigh 220 to 240 pounds. Again, if we visit Izzy's walking around weight, which is 195 to 210 at most, and take Izzy for his word, Jon Jones potentially could have a 30 to 40 pound weight advantage. This isn't a Jon Jones that only is powerlifting for size. This is a Jon Jones that's lifting and preparing to fight in the heavyweight division. Izzy has said he's fought in the heavyweight division before, but let's not ignore the fact that it was in kickboxing and not MMA. Jon Jones has tools that Izzy doesn't have. Jon Jones will test Izzy in a realm that Izzy truly hasn't been tested in: grappling. Jon Jones told heavyweights to fear his double leg takedown. Maybe this was a message also to Izzy, but it's important to know. We can go into fight predictions in another video, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Izzy is targeting a fight against Jan Blachowicz for the light heavyweight title sometime in 2021, and Jon Jones is in his own world trying to prepare for a fight in the heavyweight division. If either one of these two lose their next fights, the allure and spectacle of Jon versus Izzy dwindles down quite a bit. I think this fight happens, and it happens at heavyweight late 2021, early 2022. What do you think? Leave a comment below if you think this will happen or not, and why. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this and our podcast talking about the latest news and events in UFC and MMA. Follow our Instagram page and TikTok in the description below.